Today we're going to talk a little bit about copycats. Now, as children, we learn by copying others. This is kind of like how we become engaged with our activities, our projects, how we learn, how we master them. The beginning is we kind of have to mimic the adults or the caregivers in front of us. And then as we evolve, as we grow up, we go to school, we learn that plagiarism is not good. Copying, copying others, preparing for a test where you're stealing answers, that's not good, that's wrong. So when we become adults and we witness somebody copying us or stealing our work, our hard work, our hard-earned work, our authentic work, this is an interesting journey of the empath because it's a realization that somebody is dishonest, and this level of dishonesty varies. It could be minimal, but it could also be huge, where somebody steals your idea for a novel or steals your preparation for a job interview, and perhaps they get it and that was, meant for you. So this is also part of awakening, and it's kind of like part of the journey of ascension. And once you realize people do copy, you have to kind of like be aware of that and maybe share less of yourself, your authentic self, with those people, and redirect your energy to people that do not copy you and who see your value and who honor your quality of expression. We are all hypocrites at some points in our lives. And the purpose of us being hypocrites is to become aware of where we are hypocrites. Because just like polarities, there's one extreme, there's another extreme, there's polar opposites of ourselves. That's our shadow self. We are the light, we are the dark, we are the integration of multiple aspects. So it would be wise for ourselves, for our inner child, for our higher self, for every single part of ourselves to see what is that all about and what is it trying to teach us, and not to shy away from that and not to be defensive about that, because oftentimes when we see that people acknowledge we are hypocrites, we might tend to refrain from going deeper because we feel judged. We feel like somebody pointed their finger at us in, disdain. And nobody likes to feel lessened or through a condescending way. If somebody has a superiority complex and they're putting their fingers down at you, that can be projection as well. But when you actually see an essence of hypocrisy, it's trying to teach you maybe something is there that is shifting. Maybe your belief systems before didn't fully connect to who you are or who you are becoming. So let this hypocrisy be a learning lesson. Let it teach you something of value within yourself that wants to come out, that wants to be expressed, and perhaps that just wants to be nurtured. And you don't have to judge yourself so hard about the hypocrisy, because it's part of learning, growing, accepting, and positively changing to be the next best version of yourself. There are two ways to deal with heartbreak, and in essence, there are two phases. The first phase might get done backwards, so a lot of times people might feel the need to be more extroverted and to go out with friends and party and to kind of appear detached, but actually they're deeper attached to their pain. So that's the phase that should be actually number two, but they act as the first phase. So dynamically, the first phase should be isolation, going into the void, going into a meditative state, and kind of like being with your feelings if you have been avoidant of those or afraid to feel, And if you do get depressed, it is healthy to reach out. But that's the first phase. It's kind of like going into your cocoon bubble to repair the wounds, to repair the heartbreak, and to just be in that space of, okay, like this is happening, this is painful, this is uncomfortable, and yet you are not running away. The second phase is when you start to go out, and you might have to push yourself a little bit to go out. But this doesn't mean you have to go out and be wild and go to parties. You can just go with good friends to a bookstore, a library, a farmer's market, a walk, a hike, to the beach, to a park, to a store, some shopping, finding things that connect to your soul as you are still in the phase two of healing. And as your heartbreak slowly repairs itself, you'll see that the way you go from introverted to extroverted through phase one and phase two will essentially help you manifest healthier partnerships where you also feel more balanced and more comfortable in your own skin.